Hey there, I'm Cyberchroma. Welcome to the stream. I'll lower this immediately. Hello. Or not. Why am I having so many technical issues today? Everything possible that's making stream not want to happen. Also, things look slightly different because I moved my desk to a different corner of my room. Potentially have better lighting, and I think things look slightly better now, although I noticed the camera is not good. There we go. Yeah, so yeah, messing around with things. That better? Something like that. Still a work in progress. Something along those lines. Yeah, hello, welcome. We are mic things, something like that. Yeah. Ta-da. Yeah, we are back working on Handyman with Unicycle. Last stream we were doing this. Today's also probably gonna be short stream because I'm starting super late because of fun technical issues and just everything, which is moving stuff around and whatnot. Yeah, fun. So, yesterday we were doing stuff with this, well, even yesterday was a short stream. We were doing stuff with our little animation thing. I haven't actually put the new version of this down there. That's still running the old thing, but the cube kind of hops around. It's not great, but it does it. And then there's actually like more of a delay of the next coin thing spawning. So, yeah, that is stuff. Let's actually build this so that it'll overwrite the previous one. Let me close that as well. Meant to do this earlier, forgot to, so we're doing it now and it's fine. And then yep, there goes that, and it should show up, please. Good. Is it one thing that's working properly? Haha. Yeah. Okay, cool. Making sure that it is indeed working. It seems to be. Oh, I paused the random background music. Unpause that. Cool. All right, we're good to go. Actually, hold on. Yeah, I'm gonna be doing a lot of just little adjusting. Don't mind me. Lighting still isn't great, but it's like better, and I don't have a light like right above my head. Well, I kind of do, but not the same way that I did over there was before. Also, wall behind me is just flat now, rather than the weird like over there as of yesterday. It's like weird turns or whatever. Also, this wall is slightly lighter colored than the wall over there for some reason, which I only noticed today. So yeah, that's fine, I guess. But yeah, I let a little bit. Oh, and then also I put I moved my shelf over. That's back in view where it wasn't before. So I guess that's a thing. I can rebuild my little cube tower thing that I had set up before back at my old setup or whatever. Anyways, but yeah, just still doing experimenting with little things here and there to continue to improve my setup or whatever. I mean, like where my webcam is still messing around with. Yeah, still more little improvements and stuff to make, but it is a I'd say it's a start. It's been a start for a while. It's like that's continuing to be in progress. Oh, hold on. That my microphone just hit my monitor. Don't want that. Okay. Something like that. Yeah. Because I'm also trying to move this microphone so it's not like actively blocking my screen. Yeah. Anyways, okay. So what we're actually doing over here is this Handyman with Unicycle. Still needs so much work to get anywhere that we want it to be, but we're getting there. We are indeed getting places with it. Also, I'm just going to close this. We don't need this open right now. Assuming down there does not break. So, what I want to attempt, beginning of this stream working on this game, is that I've said before that the camera is very broken and has lots of problems, blah, 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 blah. Oh, the player doesn't turn right now. Why is the player not turn? Because that breaks some stuff with the camera, right? I turned off the player turning because of some of the camera issues. I'm still working on solutions for some of my camera issues, but I want to at least I have an idea to solve one of them that I'm going to attempt to do right now. So currently my camera is not there, over here. Camera has a lot going on for just different reasons. My camera like setup has a whole bunch of different objects. There's this camera pivot that just handles, it's like the base of the camera thing that just matches where the player is with a slight like offset and just follows the player around. Then we have slope pivot. This is the main thing that's broken. That's supposed to, when the player goes on slopes or up walls or doing loop-to-loops, this is an object that's meant to turn with the slopes so the camera turns and does a full loop-to-loop with the player. Then horizontal pivot and vertical pivot, these are like offsets for mouse movement, and the only reason that they're separated, like one being for the horizontal movement and then one for the vertical movement or rotating with like the mouse or whatever, they used to be the same code or whatever on one game object. The reason they're separated now is because I have this input forward game object that I can like make it visible or whatever. Is meant to, I use this object as when the player is pressing WASD or W or forward on a controller, what way that is relative to the camera, this object messes with that, right? So that's, this decides what forward is. And the reason I'm not using directly, the camera's forward is because if I look down, I want it to be, flat against the player. And I could do calculations to have it be flat against the ground, but, I mean, this cube is basically doing that, so, yeah, saving some of that work. So that's the thing. Now, currently, right now, some stuff is turned off. Like, right now, the player's broken. The player can't go up walls because, this thing currently doesn't turn because the slope pivot thing is off. When the slope pivot thing was on, then this would turn as the player is going up slopes, and then the player would go up slopes perfectly, and, yeah. So, that used to be a thing, or, like, it is kind of a thing if I turn certain code on and off. So that's horizontal, vertical pivot, and then I go down further, and then we have camera ideal position that is here. This handles zooming, but the zooming code is also turned off right now because it's a little bit broken. Because just everything's broken. But this doesn't act. So this is a bunch of game objects that sort of decide this is, if the camera is perfectly following the player, this is where it should be. But this isn't actually the camera. The camera is on a whole separate object over here that has things going on. And the reason for that is so that I can sort of these are all the game objects that decide like how the camera should be if the camera is following the player. If the camera is not following the player for the sake of like a cutscene or some menuing related stuff, I want to be able to have the camera be a separate thing. So this camera can choose to either perfectly follow this object, or I can hijack it and say follow something else. That's why the camera's kind of pulled out of that. Yeah. So then we have the player, and that has stuff going on. There's this camera look at target that was used at one point. Actually, code for that currently is not on, I don't think, of to handle like rotation stuff where the camera's looking. Anyway, so I want to change some stuff with this. First of all, I have a better idea for implementing this input forward thing to be able to pull it out of here and have this be part of in the player, because I realized that in terms of what way forward should be if I'm holding W or whatever, is always gonna be flat to the player, unless we're in midair. But that's a different story that we'll get to. Then I can like override it, because then if we're in midair, then it's just flat, down or whatever. Yeah, so like that's easy to sort of do manually without needing a reference object for it necessarily. So I'm thinking of putting this input forward underneath the player, so that when the player turns because of slopes, then this input forward will turn up as well. So then, but then have it be flat against the player, and then just the Y part of it turn based on what way the camera is facing. And I'm thinking that will solve some of my input redirection issues. Doing that will then, one thing is if this is pulled out of there, then I can recombine the horizontal and vertical pivots back into one thing, because they really don't need to be separated. And I can start to just have how many game objects it is to handle all this camera stuff just be less. And then by doing that, then I might be able to further just simplify some stuff. Because right now I have a lot of these split up as different objects. There's slope pivot, and then horizontal and vertical pivot, and then the thing that handles the zoom. I have them split up because I thought I could handle them separately. Like have these bits of code that are independent of each other, handling these different parts of the camera, and like they don't talk to each other. They have to be on different objects and handle their different offsets or whatever. And I thought that system would work. So it turns out some of my problems are happening because of that, and might be better if I were to combine them more. You know, go back to less bared objects and like one script that like is doing, you know, the slope stuff and the mouse stuff, and have the, because I think they need to talk to each other a lot more than I previously thought they did, and we'll potentially get better results out of that, and yada yada yada. So that being said, first thing I set out as I want to do is just take this, and I guess we're just gonna bury it just under the player like that. And we're gonna, you know, keep this sort of temporary, like, the visuals of it, just so I can see it. So if we have this, and then I need to actually double check what's actually using it first of all. Because before, like, it was just an object that is referenced, like, there's no code on this. It's being turned because of all this parent stuff. Now I'll need code to actually turn it. And but now that I think about it, what code should do that? Either the player move could do it, or the camera itself could do it. But given that it's on the player, I figure the player should probably do it, and then the camera should just reference it. Although I need... there's some aspect that they're going to be like talking to each other that I won't be able to avoid. So let me start with... on player move... Where do you... Yeah, input forward is... Yeah, currently this. If I turn you off with the intention of deleting you later... well, turning that off isn't going to do anything, but... temporarily. Get a reference to this new input forward thing. So right off the bat, doing nothing else. Oh, yeah, you don't like that. Right. Wait, if the player's facing forward, why are you turning at all? Wait, what's actually turning you? I thought... Right now, you wouldn't turn. Because... Why is... Oh, I didn't actually turn... I didn't fully turn off the player turning. I thought I did. Okay, right. So yeah, I mean, yeah, this is I can work with this. It's just this is not the, obviously this isn't doing any of what I want it to be doing, but I thought this isn't how this would be happening right away. Okay, so this is fine. I just now need to hijack the Y rotation and just, turn it based on the camera, I think. And turning it in like a global way should override that the parent thing is turning. Is that fine though? This almost makes me wonder that, like, because it being under the player and, turning like that, I'm wondering if maybe I should just have it be its own separate object. But I mean, I want it to have all the, like, the rotation of the player on the X and Z, but just not on, I guess I just want to override the Y. Yeah, no, so having it be underneath is what I want for now. This is what we're going to try. So, in the code, let's see, I have this here. I'm going to make a function for this. Yeah, I guess. Well, I guess I can do it in the get input function. Have you right at the top if we're bothering to get input. So start here, say input forward, we want to mess with its rotation. Dot, the Euler angles, dot Y. And ideally, I want to mess with just the Y. Let the Z, or let the X and Z be 0. Equals, vector, well, okay, hold on, I was gonna make a new vector 3. New vector 3, so input direction or something like that is gonna be new vector 3. Let's start with just vector 3.0, just clean slate it. And then I want to change the Y to whatever. Let's just say as an example, I set it to 90 degrees exactly for some reason. And then put that in there. So I do, oh, right, hold on. I just realized that, this is, global or whatever. I want to change the, I only want to change, I only want to change the local Euler angles. However, you know, I want to counter the rotation of the player, so I might need to basically like subtract the player's rotation. Let me. Can I do that just by going equals, you know, 90 minus transform dot local Euler angles dot y. Let me just see what happens. If this is then saying be a perfect 90 degrees, I should move. You're gonna hard face left. Okay, yeah, that works technically. I mean, it's not done yet. It works as far as that experiment goes. So now it's just this number. I need to be like, I need the camera. Do I have a reference to the camera at all in here? I can get one with camera. Dot main dot. So I basically just want to. How do I want to flatten this? I want to. I'm deciding if I want to. I could just, at the moment, go off of the horizontal pivot, take the horizontal pivot, and then go forward. But then, I mean, it's very similar to how it's currently set up. I want to, I think, have how it flattens this direction not be based on these, but actually just base it off of the main, proper main camera, so that it's, like, perfect and exact, I guess. Okay, so, I take the camera at main, dot... Can I go dot transform dot local Euler angles dot y? What are you gonna be? Let's see. Let me just, you know, you're this. Can I just take the y? No. Not when it goes upside down. That won't work when it goes upside down. But let me just see what, just to test stuff, just to see if things aren't gonna work how I think they will. And if I do this, well, I need to subtract the player's one. Let's just see what happens. I don't think this is gonna work, but okay. On flat ground, it's working. I'm guessing the second I do a slope, it's gonna just not. Yeah. So like, we're gonna make the camera turn upwards, but I wanted to see if I could get it to be decent. So why? What about you breaks? And it's because, well, yeah, so I'm taking the Euler angles y, yeah, I know what variable I'm getting. So why do you, if that's not changing, why do you suddenly start to change? That's because it's the player's rotation that's messing with that. Because it snaps from being like 0 to deciding to be 90 or whatever, which, you know, that's not great. Yeah, that's not great. That's not amazing. Yeah, Euler angles suck, and everything to do with quaternions is bad and awful. So, right. Before, at one point, I had it set up so that the parent of the player only... This parent game object with the player only rotated... I tried to have it only rotate on the X and Z axis. The Y stays 0, essentially. And it just handled turning on slopes, but it was always essentially facing forward. And then having the child object, the starting at like the unicycle pivot, have that actually turn around because the turning is purely... visual, pretty much. But having that, like, that was also having its own tons of fun issues. Getting around, so that I wasn't able to get around, so I just made it so that the parent game object thing turned. It's like, oh, it might cause problems later, we'll see. And yeah, it's causing some issues. But it's causing issues both ways. It's both ways it's causing its own fun set of issues. Why is this doing... Yeah, so it seems that perhaps going off, using the parent player's Euler angles at all might not be the best move. And as I said, I wanted to try to, ideally I was, yeah, just turning this globally regardless of yeah, how the player's turning on the y-axis or whatever. So what I could do is more calculations, just be like, take the camera's input, flatten it to the ground normal, like the slope that we're on. But then that does cause some issues of if we're on a slope like this, looking down, then it'll move us down, not move us up, when ideally we move up. But that's a temporary problem, because in a second we're gonna be having the camera actually turn, so it will be going up. So in theory, that should be a problem that fixes itself. I would like to hope, but if the camera has any kind of smoothing on it and it's not instant, that turning on a slope, we go on a really fast loop, the camera doesn't catch up fast enough that it can get to that point where it's, sort of pointing backwards for a second. And like, I remember that these were issues that like I was, trying to solve before, and that's part of why I had the camera turning with slopes to begin with. Just made some of that stuff easier. Okay, so is that the best way to go about this? Is to just take the player's rotation. No, take the camera's rotation, flatten it against whatever slope. It can work at least as a starting thing while I potentially figure out a better solution. So I want to take, and ideally not working in Euler angles would also be great, because working normal quaternions can be more precise, I guess. Yeah. So camera.main.transform. So there's I've used where have I used? I've used a project on plane function, yeah, down there. So I'll just copy that. Don't mind if I do. So take this input direction. Well, no, not that. Take the camera's rotation. Wait, or hold on. This isn't gonna. Is it gonna work? No, because you're in vector 3. I want to flatten. Well, no, I take the cameras forward. That's what I want to take the cameras forward. Whoa. Hold on. Take the cameras forward. Direction. Oh, I have an idea of how I can potentially fix this issue. So for now, I'm using the cameras forward direction. What I could eventually do is, one thing I use is take what the camera's rotation would be if we didn't have the vertical pivot because of the mouse. Then it would be more, it would be like, lower, where the player's actually going. That's, for now, I could just go off of, the rotation of, the global rotation of this horizontal pivot game object. But if I want to eventually combine these bits of code again, then I could just have the code that deals with these rotations have some internal number. That is, here's what the rotation would be if the vertical pivot stuff was all zeroed out, and then grab that, have that like that sort of forward direction, perhaps. But this can work as a temporary thing until we get there. So, input direction. Well, I guess at this point I'm just gonna, input direction equals flatten this camera's forward direction to the ground normal of what we're on, which I'm gonna need a separate thing if we're in midair. If we're in midair, then we just flatten it against vector 3.up, right? So, okay, we'll come back to that though. Well, actually, no, I don't need to come back for that because I already handled it. Like, if we are in midair, then ground normal defaults to vector 3.up, so that's already handled. I don't need an if statement for that, I think. So, we have this input direction that is now, should be good enough, close enough to forward based on whatever slope that we're on, which is what we want to apply input on. Is that it? Wait. Then, well, no, then I want to take that and say, have the rotation be a thing that is pointing in that direction. Give yourself a rotation so that your forward direction is this. What's the best way of doing that? If we were to equal, let me hold on. There's a quaternion dot look rotation. I think that might be what I want. Look based on that's your forward and your up. I'm not gonna pass it in. Do I have to pass it in up? Your up is gonna be the player's up. The Well, but again, this doesn't work if the player's in midair. Ground normal. Ground normal is... yeah. What's your problem? You're just, rotation. And that's gonna be global rotation, not local. Okay. This might work. This might explode horrifically. Care to find out? Okay. Ignore the player... Wait, why would... The player itself... The player rotation stuff is freaking out a little bit, but... Oh, why... Okay, so this... yeah, this is... It can get higher, kind of, but now... Why do you go... Why is that what left and right are doing? Oh, it's because if I'm looking down, now you're going the opposite directions, kind of. Okay, so you definitely don't like that and don't work with that, but now... If I combine that with... two things. One, combine that with just going off of the horizontal pivots rotation. So, as a... additional temporary thing, let's see here, just get a reference to it. So, where are you? You transform and just go camera horizontal pivots? I don't know. Something like that. If I use this thing's forward direction, that will make it temporarily a little bit better, I think. Yeah. Well, we're gonna find out. Okay. So, take this and get that reference in there. Yeah, it's not gonna make it perfect, but it's gonna make it slightly better. Or not. Or not? That sort of just makes the initial issue happen. Why? Or... Right, no, that's an issue. Sorry, I need that with the slope pivot. So if I turn you back on now... oh, the camera's forward direction's gonna go all wonky. Okay. Right, that's a separate issue that I know why this is happening, and it's a easy fix. I just have to actually do it. Just something I haven't gotten around to yet, but if I do that temporarily, no. If I can move forward for long enough, temporarily, I should be able to do this loop-to-loop. Yeah, no, I'm gonna have to fix this other issue. I'm trying to, like, put it off, but no, it's not gonna. Okay, separate thing. We did detour now to just fix a different issue to get the slope pivot kind of back to working, sort of. So, this code basically assumes that that parent player object never turned. Now that it does turn, it doesn't account for that. So, right, but then this does cause other issues. I basically need, okay, what would the forward be if the Y was 0? But no, it doesn't work once we go sideways, and then the Y goes from like positive to negative 90 or whatever. That just, yeah, it goes back to additional issues. Is there any way I can just temporarily, quickly fix this? Or, yeah, that is causing me additional problems that the parent turns now. It's not amazing. If I temporarily, where is align to ground? This, if I do a little bit of putting in old code, I think this will temporarily put things back to how they were. That code that I haven't deleted yet. That combined with putting that turn speed back to 0, and then what you on temporary fix. Yeah. So okay. Not set up for midair, but ignoring midair stuff. Why does the player turn like that? That's its own separate issue, because right now if it's not turning, it should be going perfectly forward or whatever, but whatever, I guess it's fine. We're not going to worry about it. Actually, how are you turning a little bit and the camera being fine? That shouldn't be happening, but whatever. Temporarily, we can... temporarily, as long as we're on the ground, input, you know, is fine again, but now there's separate issues of... This is, yeah, one weird thing of just how the camera rotation works is when I go in midair and it's supposed to sort of snap back to just being facing down, it does not do it correctly at all. And this is stuff I was trying to just do some research into fixing, looking at some behind the scenes stuff with like Ratchet and Clank and whatnot to try and see if I could, because I know that game has a camera system, a completely different game engine, completely different, you know, physics or whatever, but it has a camera system that, whoa, follows the player. Can you believe it? And that game has a part where you have, like, magnet boots on and go and walk up walls and on ceilings and whatnot. And then I believe you can fall off of them and the camera does, you know, pan back around normally, correctly, in a way that my thing does not. So while I'm going to essentially stall and figure out what's going on, I'm going to, now that we have the input player actually on the player, I'm just going to, yeah, complete you there, and go in you, and apply you, apply this player, blah, good for now, you, blah. Okay. So, by having done that, now I have no reason to have the... No reason, asterisk, for the horizontal and vertical pivot to be separated, because I'm thinking that part of how I'm going to fix this is by combining the sort of slope pivot stuff and the horizontal pivot stuff and the vertical pivot stuff all into one thing that just does all the calculations, spits out two numbers, and, well, two numbers-ish. Because in theory, oh... Oh, you're not turning. Oh, you're part of... Right. In theory, I should be able to kind of... I don't know, be able to turn 4 slopes by only messing with the X and the Z, kind of. I don't know if that'll work out that way, but, like, for a rotation like this... if I flatten out this, there's some... Gimbal lock? I wanted to see if I could, essentially... yeah, no, okay, maybe not to a good degree. I wanted to see if I could... I mean, if I were... Yeah, no, it's not gonna happen quite so good. If I put these back to 0. I mean, on 2 axes, kind of, sort of. Like, I'm wondering if there's some math I could do where, like, what I just did essentially of not turning it off of this XYZ where it doesn't match this, but like this sort of local rotation, right? Turn you on you and turn you up like that, and then bam, you're facing that way, but I only turned on 2 axes. I wonder if there's something I can figure out in complicated math or things I can Google and try to just make that work. I'm also gonna, now that this input forward thing is working enough, I'm gonna turn off the visuals of it because it's not supposed to actually be here. There's a B. I will deal with that later. Okay. Oh, no. That's fine. Okay, so, yeah, it sucks that see, this is an issue. There's, like, a lot of, like, conflicting stuff where it's like, oh, if I do this, it has this problems. If I do this, then it has separate issues, and getting them to work well together is an issue. And a lot of, what makes it difficult is the fact that I want the player to, be able to go upside down and whatnot. Something that, is not super duper common in games. have the camera, or have the player go around and do loop-the-loops and stuff, but then also have the camera, like, accompany doing that. Yeah, cameras are hard. Camera systems, like, for, you know, having good player cameras is very, very tricky to just get all the little things perfect and good. And, like, so there's, like, so many little things with games. Like, even, like, Ratchet and Clank, I whipped up an emulator and, like, looking at that just right at the beginning, first level stuff. And some, like, little nuances of what that camera does. And when you jump, the camera doesn't go up immediately. It kind of waits till you land on, like, if you land on higher ground, and then the camera, like, moves up with the fact that then you're on, I guess, higher ground or whatever. So, like, that, it does stuff like that. It's common for a lot of, I think, 3D platform cameras to do, like, so I'm going to cheat this with the mouse, but, like, if I didn't move the camera with the mouse, if I'm holding A, the camera kind of, like, turns in a circle. Like, that's a thing some 3D platform cameras do. And I'm considering whether I want, like, you know, how many of those little nuances do I want in this game? I mean, there's a difference between saying I want something and then actually programming it. Like, right now, I'm just trying to have, you know, have camera go upside down, and when I go in midair, then it, like, smoothly goes back to facing universal downwards, but right now it's, you know, whipping around in weird ways. Yeah, so, like, that's an issue. Which kind of affects the player's ability to play the game, but we're getting there. We're getting there. With specifically, I have rambled about this before. I'll do it again, just quick, because the specific thing of, like, oh, having the camera slightly turn when you turn to the side. I don't think I want that necessarily, because if I'm being shot, I use the example of, like, if I'm being shot at by a bunch of hazards, I want to move side to side. Having the camera, like, turn a little bit as I'm doing that, I don't know if that's something that I want. Although there is, what I think is doing some of that, like, makes that effect happen, is some games will, like, if I'm moving in a direction, the camera will slowly pan around so that becomes forward. And is that something that I want? Or if the player's moving on, like, some slight axis as they're, you know, wanting to look at something in this direction, do I want to let them do that? Possibly. I don't know. I don't know how many of these little things that I want, but I think before I get any of those little nuanced things, I need, like, the basic stuff to work. Such as going upside down and having the game not just implode. But I'm gonna still need to just continue to do more Googling and researching and blah, blah, blah to fix this that I don't have a great solution to right now. And yeah, will require lots of fun old Googling and whatnot to get there. So in this stream, I just wanted to quickly do that one. I want to do that one bit of the input forward stuff, because I figured that would be easy enough to do. I guess additional thing is, I now don't need the horizontal and vertical pivot to be separated, because I'm thinking of, as I said, combining slow pivot, horizontal pivot, vertical pivot into one thing. No, an additional part of that is all of these only handle. Oh right, wait. Oh, I forgot the vertical pivot's raised. Right. Which I might be able to do some funky stuff to get around that. So the horizontal pivot is here. That's actually, let me just activate this. The horizontal pivot is, you know, here, rotates like this. But then I have the vertical pivot up here, rotating the camera along this sort of axis. Right. But part of that is, as I just said, like, having all these as, like, individual systems. And I don't know if they should be handled as these sort of individual systems, or whether it should be all handled by one super... I mean, because we split up in different scripts, but, like, scripts that actually talk to each other, of all the camera stuff. Because, well, yeah, the little nuances that, like, better complicated game camera things have in terms of, you know, depending on how I'm moving, messing with this sort of horizontal offset, this vertical offset, which, you know, overriding stuff from how the mouse be moving. Where, like, this offset shouldn't necessarily be universal, always happen. Especially if I want a case, let's say, I'm mid-level, I'm going around doing stuff. Oh, I need to contact you. I'm going around that level, I'm doing whatever, and then I want to, for the sake of like a mini cutscene or whatever, be like, hey, an explosion happened over there for whatever reason. And I'm on, like, as the player's going through a level, and now, hey, hijack the camera, have it look over there, but the player can still move freely. Do that for a couple seconds, and then go back to normal player movement. I will want to hijack this, the horizontal pivot, vertical pivot numbers, change them, so that if I then give back player camera stuff, well, so, like, in that particular case, would I want to snap back to, like, remember what it was before and go back to, they were facing this way, so have it face this way? Or, you have camera controls back, but, like, stay facing the way that we overrided, but now you can turn the camera up, I guess. Like, that's something I could do. Although, then it might not be as obvious that, hey, I've given you back camera controls. Unless, like, I don't know, it's more obvious, like, hey, characters were just talking, and now they're not. I don't know. This may not a great example, but, like, I don't know, in terms of any scenario where I want to hijack the camera while giving the player still having control, which I imagine there's times where I want to do that at the level to show off stuff as part of, like, mini cutscene things, as long as it doesn't mess too much. As long as it doesn't mess with the gameplay too much. We'll see. I think now that I say that out loud, I might have to sort of test both scenarios. I'm also just remembering that another thing that's been sort of put off for a while that I've been meaning to do is that when the player is going downhill, supposed to pick up speed a lot more than they currently are. That's why the player still feels kind of slow, because on like normal ground, it's like, sure, this is the player's speed. Might make even just the ground speed a little bit faster, but you're supposed to get most of your speed by going downhill and launching. Which one the interesting thing of that, because I've also said that I want, if you're going uphill, to kind of cheat, and like you don't lose speed from going uphill, you only either base speed or higher from going downhill. That should mean that doing loop-de-loops mean like you get the same speed until you start going down, and then you almost get more of a boost out of that. That could be interesting. It would. I wonder how that would work too. If you're going uphill, like I go up this wall, go up and then down, should now be going faster, momentarily. Out of that, think of like future speedrunning stretch that it potentially be fast to like go up and down just to get that speed boost as you're going along. That's kind of cool. That's kind of neat, I guess. Even just doing loops like this, yeah. Anything that can make you go downhill to get that additional speed. That's kind of neat. That's fascinating. Anywho, stuff to figure out later. So how much of this all do I want to do right now? So the camera slope turn, it does a local rotation equals look based on these numbers. But this isn't going to work anymore if this object is rotating and I don't have an easy way. Like, two problems that I gotta solve. Either getting the player turning on slopes and whatnot to work in a situation where the Y never changes, only the X and Z do, which is hard to math that into happening. So that then only the child object pivots on the Y or whatever. It's either I figure out how to do that, and if I do, then this code can work as is, and the slope pivot's fine, I think. Since I can't do that currently, and the parent player's thing, when I turn on that code is turning, then I need a different way to turn the camera to slopes that doesn't work off of this. This also would be, in theory, this would be easier if the camera did just lock behind the player always, but that's not how 3D platformer cameras tend to work. We want that offset, because then also as the player is turning, if that then is turning the camera on top of what the player mouse is doing, that doesn't work so well. I want the player to be able to move left and right, have the character turning left and right, but have the camera be able to stay in a direction if I want that to happen. And again, flat ground is totally fine. Like, the current way that things are set up, see, flat ground is working totally good. The problem is just figuring out how the calculations and physics and blah 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 should be when upside down, when yeah, everything just kind of falls apart. But yeah, so I'm not gonna be doing that right now because I don't have a good solution to it right now, and I will be figuring that out kind of on my own between now and next stream working on this game. Do I want to? Can I quickly, the thing I just said of going downhill, having you gain speed, can I whip that up fast? I wonder if, so let's go like, also these numbers are, this number to be massive now because of just how I'm applying the speed differently and whatnot. Well, actually, this is like, because I've made it frame independent or whatever, so this is being multiplied by the frame rate and whatnot, which makes that number massive. Anyways, so if I were to have some other float public, float, downhill momentum bonus or something like that, and we'll start by having it all. I don't even know. It could be a multiplier. Let's have it be a multiplier of 2 or whatever, because I have this max same direction bonus is also a multiplier. Let me look at where this is being applied. I do that over. Where are you used? You're still being used, right? Yeah, there. Okay. Right. This, yeah, because it happens as relative holding movement in the same direction. Yada yada. Okay. So, this potential, yeah, speeding us up based on the ground normal. I guess that should be calculated. That could be calculated in player ground check, because this is what's doing the ground calculations. While I'm doing this, I could look at the normal and then be like, oh, maybe. Right, oh, there's a whole separate thing. I've just realized there's a problem. I can't just look. I was thinking like, oh, just look at the normal direction and whatever. I need to look at the way that we're moving as well, because I need to know, like, I'm not just looking at, oh, is it a curve? I need to know, are we going down that curve or are we going up that curve? Is there an easy way where I could just say, is our velocity, the y velocity negative, but then that would work if we're falling? Well, if we're, well, okay, wait, there's a way I can cheat this, just saying, if we are on the ground, if we're considered grounded, and our y velocity is negative, that has to mean that we're going down, right? I guess unless we're on a moving platform of some kind. But I think when we get to moving platform related code, we'll sort of add on those offsets. Like we'd say, like, looking at, if we're on a moving platform, take the moving platform's y velocity and ours, and then, you know, to see relatively are we going down relative to how the moving platform is moving, I guess. Would that work? So then I don't even care about, I was gonna do, you know, like angle calculations of the slope that we're on, but I guess that doesn't matter as much. It's just, are we moving down and on the ground? Are we moving, yeah, downwards relative to the ground we're on? I feel like the solution might have issues, but we're just gonna try it for now, which that means I don't need to do those calculations in there. I mean, I could have the ground check do those calculations, then spit out a Boolean of, are we moving downhill? But, I mean, the only thing that's gonna be using that right now is the player, so, or is the player move code, so I guess we'll just do it in here. So, that's not part of getting input, that's part of actually doing the moving. So I'm gonna say, oh, this just calculates the same direction bonus. I only apply it here? Right. Yes, okay. Double checking things. Okay, so if we're on the ground and we have this air momentum bonus as well, that's the whole thing. Lots of just bonuses, bonus things to apply because of just how I'm applying certain stuff with the physics, and not being all consistent. Okay, so let's just start with just bool. Going downhill, I guess, something like that, is going to be what? Our calculation is, as I said, is going to be is rb.velocity.y negative. If it's exactly 0, then, I mean, probably then that means we're moving along flat ground and we don't want to apply downhill. I don't know if I want some kind of threshold. Like if we're moving down slightly, do we not apply it or whatever? I mean, I think we should probably. But well, just to be safe, for now I'll say if our y velocity is less than or equal to negative 0.01, or yeah, start with that. Well, that's like 0.1. That test is whether we're going downhill. So if that's the case, then what? If going downhill, then we're just gonna multiply the force, I guess. Go force. For now, I want to try it being a multiplier. Downhill momentum bonus or whatever. Do we apply more over time? Oh, shoot, I didn't even think about that. Oh, of course. Oh, right. Of course, the steeper the slope, we should apply more speed. It shouldn't be an all or nothing. I didn't even think about that. Of course. Darn. Right, yes. So we have the ground. Okay, maybe we'll just do the calculation here. Considering like, oh, should it happen here or in the actual ground checking code? It can happen here. Ground normal. Where is player ground check dot instance dot ground normal? This guy is up. So what I could do is take the angle of this. I guess I did do angle calculations afterwards. Whatever. After all, yeah. So the angle between this and then the player. Well, not the player. The player's gonna be perfect with it because that's how we align the player. What the distance between that and then normal vector 3 dot up? That tells us our angle, right? So in the greater this angle, we want to apply more downhill momentum bonus up to the maximum of. Okay. So if we're perfectly up, this is 0. The highest this would be if we're upside down. Oh, wait. If we're up, when we're upside down on loop-de-loops, how does that work? When we're perfectly upside down, we're not moving downwards, so that shouldn't count. But as we're going down the loop, the angle is going to be a lot, but that shouldn't be, that wouldn't add on a lot of speed. The point where it should be applying the highest bonus would be at 90, right? So it's going to be like a little bit, a lot, a little bit, and like go down. So 90 is the maximum, so. But it's weird that it's like a maximum on both sides. The angle between this and up. Let's just start with the ground stuff first. We'll just see what that does. Divided by 90. This is gonna give us essentially a percentage. So, let's hold on. Okay, have a float for like downhill percent. Something like that. I don't know. The names don't matter. It's fine. So, take that angle, divide it by 90%. If this is greater than 1, then maybe we just cap it out. No, it should because it should go down. Like 180 should be 0, 0 should be 0, and they go up 45 and 135 should be like halfway, and they max it at 90. There's definitely some easy calculation to do that I'm just blanking on. I mean, I could, if it's greater than 90, do this calculation. If it's less than 90, then do this calculation. Well, I mean, actually, go. Okay, we'll do this in increments. Go float, just downhill angle equals this. Spit this in here, and go if it's greater than 90 degrees, then I want to sort of invert it. So I just go, no, hold on. No, not, because it wouldn't even be 90 minus, it would be, why am I forgetting what this... Jeez, I'm tired. Wait, no, I'm doing this the wrong way. What I should be doing is just going, take the angle, subtract 90, and then 0, subtract 90, and then make it absolute. Go math, f dot absolute. And then if it, like, yeah, then it's sort of, yeah, putting it down and then flipping. No, but now I flipped it the wrong. Oh, have I, if I've, so 0 will go down to -90, and then we'll flip around to +90 as that max angle. Then I want to go. Do I want to go 1 minus that? I feel like I'm flipping it twice. I feel like I'm doing this incorrectly. As I said, so well, 90 should 0 should spit out 0. 90 should spit out 1. 180 should spit out 0. What? This shouldn't be hard. It's just math that I'm just failing to do in my head. No, just okay. Hold. Do it, yeah, 1 minus this. That should flip it around. I might be flipping it twice, but with the, like, absolute and then 1 minus that, but this, in theory, might work. This times downhill percent being between 0 and 1. I'm definitely gonna have to, like, print out values to see if that's actually spitting out what I want. This isn't even the true, like, it's kind of an angle. Percent is 1 minus. That's not even, oh, I didn't divide it by 90. Where did, subtract the 90, that has to be an additional, just divided by 90. Put the F's in there, sure. Why not? Why not? Whoa, 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 didn't mean to do, oh, hold on. Back there. Downhill angle, blah, 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 blah. Okay. I bet that this won't work. Let's see, let me just actually make the number, where is, downhill momentum bonus, 2. So at going fully downhill, we should get double our speed. So going uphill. Oh. Oh, it's, I'm right. It's multiplying by 0. Of course, it's gonna. If this percent is 0, it's not gonna actually do it, or it's gonna cancel out the entire force. So this needs to be like, if I just add 1, well, then it goes between 1 and 2. At 0, it should not apply any addition. Do I want to add? I mean, okay, at this point, I'm change it to adding. Well, you don't like. Why not? And float. Okay, no, this is a float, of course. No, just whatever. Just go. Yeah, whatever. Just add 1 to it for now. It's fine. Just to test that this is gonna work in the first place. So go between 1 and 2. Well, no, but then it will guaranteed apply some amount of force. No. Jeez, why am I failing to math here? I did calculus and integrals and all that eons ago, and it's all just poof, gone. I don't know. I find that when I'm in the middle of a stream, I'll just, it's like half my brain just can't do math. Okay, hold on here. Hold on. I got this. Got me. If we're going downhill, because also I mean, yeah, I'm trying to do this all in my. If would it help if I draw stuff out in pink? We essentially want this, like, you know, woo, bell curve kind of thing. 0, 180, 90. Wow, look at that amazing art or whatever. Where then we're well, okay, so I mean, separate thing, just in general. Do, like, just logic thing. Do I want to apply this as a adding on, like, as a, do I want to apply it as a multiplier or a base speed increase, which I'm also not sure. I mean, I'm applying the same direction bonus thing and the... Where do I apply the air momentum bonus? I apply... Ooh, I do apply that as a fixed addition. Okay, seeing that I do that there, maybe I'd be consistent. Have this be consistent with this. So now I'm going to say... Wait, how do you... You're a vector. Oh, you are a vector. We'll say, you know, plus equals vector 3.1 times... No, hold on. That's going to apply in all directions. No, that's not even correct. I want to basically go, like, force dot magnitude? Not dot magnitude. Dot normalized? In that direction? Apply this additional speed? And then now I don't need to... I don't need to... Yeah, because then if it's 0, this will do nothing. If it's 1, it'll, you know, be the force. Okay. Ugh, yeesh. Okay. So, this is the slope I should be testing things on. Okay. I don't think I'm getting extra speed. Oh, no, because I'm adding it now. So the number needs to be so much more massive. You're going to need to be like... We'll put in that same number, so now it's going to be double. I think it's working. I think it's kind of working. I want to see... Oh, shoot. I just realized an additional problem is that it's not going to last. Because of how stuff is working with the other forces that are being applied or whatever. The reason I have to do the air momentum bonus in the first place, like I have to have, I'm having this like lasting force that sort of fades out over time. Shoot. So if we're going, like, if I'm going straight down, I should be gaining speed, hit the ground, and that speed is, you know, still going. I didn't even account for that. This is only gonna be like a momentary, like, while we're going down here, we have that speed. Once we hit flat ground again, you know, the speed goes away instantly, or this speed rather. That's a whole separate issue. But before we tackle that, let me just see that this is printing out the right numbers that I think it should be. So I should print downhill percent. Stream's called fixing camera stuff or whatever, and not doing that anymore, but oh well, it's fine. Okay, so 0, yeah, okay. So to flat, so right now it's basically 0. Why'd it stop? I don't know why it stopped printing and then whatever, okay, I guess, yeah. Why? Oh, right. I only do it if the Y velocity is less than... Yeah, okay. Right, of course, that makes sense. I did indeed code that being a thing. So this being 1 makes sense, and then it's like basically 0. It shouldn't really be... No, yeah, it's not printing on like flat ground, which makes sense. I'm going downhill slightly, and it's like basically 0. Getting like those, yeah, few zeros in there should basically be fine. Go down here, this is like, yeah, 0.2, I guess that makes sense. A little bit I go down this slope. I like 0.28. I feel like that's not... I guess it's not that steep of a slope. If I am saying that this is 0.9 and then 0.7, yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess that's not even 45 degrees. This is like a 30 degree slope or something like that. So no, that gets those numbers check out. Sure. Okay, cool. So we got like the percentage there, doing percentage things. Yeah, but the problem is that there's no lasting force. There's a bit of an issue of like anytime I want any additional like momentum-y forces, I'm gonna have to keep. I wonder if I could make some kind of helper function to be like, apply this lasting force for X number of seconds. Nah, but I need this to like keep building up. And how should it know when to applying the force and then Let me just as a test real quick. If I make you, you know, very massive, this is not going to go well. And right, yeah, it goes away immediately. It does not stick around because I the way I'm doing, you know, dragons. The drag in the rigid body is 0, but I sort of am doing manual drag stuff where the manual drag is quite high, so that we stop fast. Because I want, you know, moving around. I want, you know, I want to be able to change direction fast. I want to be able to stop pretty fast. I guess I'm just gonna have to apply it the same way. I'm just gonna copy the code with this air momentum bonus. Yeah, this. This is like, how long have we been in the air? Or no, how long we've been falling, and then this is like sort of the maximum. And yeah, this is a separate percentage of, like, you know, have the force kind of fizzle out. So should I basically try to think of the best way logically to apply said force continuously in a way that's, you know, realistic but also good for gameplay or whatever, that's not going to cause a bunch of issues? Should it have some maximum? Like right now it's an all or nothing thing, yeah. But in theory, you know, if we're going down a 90-degree wall and we're going faster and faster and faster and faster, it should cap out at some point. I mean, a wall is only going to be so long. So do I want to, for the entire duration while we're going downhill, keep adding some speed into some vector 3, that this sort of stored bonus that's going to keep going up at frame after frame, and then once we detect that we're not grounded anymore, then have a, like a, not just not grounded, but specifically the going downhill being false, then have it, like, just keep applying that force but have it fizzle out. But should it only trigger that once going downhill is false? I feel like no, because I want it to be something sort of continuous. As soon as I have some stuff that sort of flicks on a switch, there could be like a sudden change of movement, and that doesn't look great. So potentially instead, I want to just instead of applying it to the force directly here, having this, you know, downhill total, like, additional force or whatever that I keep adding to here, that gets added into force every frame regardless, and then it's that vector that I keep then fizzling out or something. So as a test thing here, oops, let's just make a thing out here just temporarily. Go vector 3 current downhill bonus, whatever. I don't know if bonus is really the right word, but whatever, it's fine. So every frame, apply it regardless of anything. Plus equals normalized times this. What's your problem? Right. No, you can just be this. You can, yeah, just be that. Oh, shoot. Right. You're gonna, the direction map, this isn't just a speed. Well, I mean, okay. Do I want it to just be a speed thing where you're going down, if you turn, you kind of keep that speed, rather than if I actually care about the direction, and the direction is basically down, but on some angle, then I have to care of, like, if you're going down, like, on a slope this way, and then you turn going down a slope this way, am I applying the force in those different directions? Or, you know, if you're going down in kind of a spiral, then just keep adding a speed. Who cares about what the direction? Doing it as a float might work better gameplay-wise. We're gonna find out. It'll be easier to program for now. So bring back in this. So just be, you know, in the way that we were going anyways, times this current downhill bonus. And then apply it every frame regardless, but then up here we're gonna say this, start just adding to it. But this, so then this number needs to go down, because it's then going to be in every frame kind of a thing. Well, or I just go times time dot fixed delta time, perhaps. And then otherwise, if we're currently going downhill, keep adding to it. Otherwise, Let's say times equals 0.9 or something. It's just some way to have it just go down gradually, but in like a lerping kind of way. But I don't know if I'd want this to be linear or not, but so then eventually this will keep going down until it reaches 0 at some point, but I can change the sort of scale of how it goes down in a minute. Now, my only thing with this is, do I almost want to do this anyways, so that, you know, you keep adding, but then also you're sort of slowly getting rid of the whatever bonus was happening, you know, from last frame or whatever. Let me just try this as, let's do this here. Let me just try things. Let me try having it be constant. That might have some interesting, consistent behavior. So, okay. So if I'm going down this, another thing that's still not there yet is I eventually want that if I stop, you know, I fall off the wall. But while that's not there, it's, you know, it's handy to have that not be a thing for testing's sake. Going down this much wall should make me gain a lot of speed in theory. Oh. Yeah, that also that shouldn't be happening when I'm just going left and right like that, but and yeah, that goes down fast. So I'm gonna go print 999. Have it be like, you know, barely going down. The thing I'm gonna click the thing I drew in paint. That didn't even help at all. Didn't even finish it. Okay, so you are 0, which makes sense. It was 0. Why was I gaining that much speed? Why do I currently have this much speed? Well, I mean, because it's not going down. It's going down super, super slow now, which, you know, makes sense, I guess, but... And the point is also to... Oh, right, the camera turning is... Really? Wait, I thought I... No, yeah, you are broken. Yeah, right, okay. So, separate thing to fix. It's going to make testing going off ramps trickier. Have you go down faster? Start. I should be testing. This should be like my main testing slope. Go down this. I should launch a lot. Woohoo! As long as they don't go on slopes, or as long as they don't go upside down, then the camera thing doesn't break. The thing that I still have to fix. I don't know. Okay, I don't feel like this is happening quite the way that I want it to be happening. I went uphill? How is that number currently so massive? Still going down, and like it, yeah. I like that it's still happening a little bit, like it, you know, if, I mean, I can have an extra clause that, like, if my velocity hits 0, then it, like, cancels it, like, then it, you know, hard sets it to 0. That can just be a separate thing, but, like, why is that happening that way? This isn't how, yeah, this isn't quite working good. How is... I shouldn't, like, I'm going so fast, and yet I'm still stopping so quickly. I have some, like, I have like, high amount of drag in place to stop quickly, but I shouldn't be going that fast to stop that quickly. I think I have other code that is interfering with this. Yeah, I just... Oh, why do I even... extra code that does not need to be how it is. Hold on. A relic of just moving stuff around. I do just... yeah, a simple way to do the drag, I just multiply the velocity by whatever every frame, but like... Wondering if maybe this should be different. But I mean, the stopping on a dime is something I want for the sake of gameplay, kind of. But like, it maybe is a tad too aggressive. But how is it? But how is it like seemingly doing nothing? Like when the downhill bonus is so high. Do I have something that's like this times equals? Oh, I multiply that by delta time twice. That's probably not something I should do, is it? Well, or is it? Do I add a thing, same direction. Well, this same direction bonus I think goes through. Yeah, no, okay, so I'll keep you as is, I think. So why? This is very massive. It's applying the force, but not a lot of it. And then also, while going uphill, feels like, yeah, that I'm getting so much additional speed that I shouldn't be like this. Why is this happening? That's obviously, you know, not a thing that should be happening. Yeah, it's being trickier than I initially thought it would be, that's for sure. I mean, all of this stuff with the physics of the player and whatnot is being super extremely complicated, but stuff that I'm sorting out, hopefully. Well, though I was kind of hoping to save most of this for like off stream and save more doing stuff on stream for like when I actually know what I'm doing, which is gonna be like anything that's not the player. A whole separate thing I still wanted to do is add in some helper functions to be able to override player input. I know it's still gonna be complicated, and override camera stuff, but that's gonna kind of wait till we're done with the camera. Just because like right now, the main things I'm having to do to make this game operational are all like the hardest things. But I'm the one who decided I want this stupid complicated player that could like go up walls and whatnot, and I'm paying the price for it. Yeah, but it's awesome. 12:52. It is late. I started the stream super late, so I knew it wasn't gonna go on for super long. But it was the case of having technical issues and whatnot. So okay, yeah, I have many more problems to solve, to figure out, and this is gonna, yeah, take more solving. I'm gonna try just one thing, just saying to like -1, increase that a little bit to see if like, because if I'm moving basically back and forth, I'm thinking that's just the things I'm moving down ever so slightly, so it's applying that force when it shouldn't be. And then extra thing, I'll say that if the, well, there should be some clause that that makes this snap to 0 if we come to a dead stop. So like, I'm just gonna move this up here with these guys. Yeah. Okay. Well. Just gonna reason to just gonna make those consistent because why not? You know, doesn't matter that much. Well, yeah, leave sort of as is, and this I gotta fix. There's so many things I gotta fix. so many. Yeah, but hopefully, but like, yeah, just gotta find the time to, and then, you know, be doing more Googling and whatnot. In terms, although having this be 0, I was gonna say that if I let go of buttons, have it snap to 0 over here. No, over here. Problem with that though is if we're going fast and we let go of the buttons and we have some of that momentum from going downhill, like that should apply a little bit. I think. Do it. So yeah, probably the best place to have it automatically snap to 0. That's tricky. That might have to be something I sort of come back to. Focus on the camera stuff for now. There's a whole bunch of little issues. I need to like focus on one, solve one, and then, yeah, figure out better solutions for the others. But okay, I think we are. Oh, hold on. Try that again. Rise. Okay, I think we're gonna, yeah, short stream, but didn't have a lot of time anyway. That's fine. We'll call things for today. Didn't do a whole lot, but you know, did a little bit of things, and yeah, the game's slowly making progress. I think progress with this will sort of snowball more once we're just through these last couple, just many camera issues. So we're gonna call it for today. Tomorrow, I think I'll have more time, but tomorrow we're gonna be finishing Pac-Man World. doing more streams and just doing game stuff, like those would be the longer ones, gives me more time to try and figure out this stuff on my own. Ideally, I come to the next stream with this game and be like, ta-da, it's fixed now. Now we're moving on to like actually making our proper first level, but we're not there yet. But hopefully we will be soon. So tomorrow we're gonna be finishing off, I think, Pac-Man World repacking the last few achievements, one of which requires me to be a master at original like arcade Pac-Man. So that'll be a challenge, but we'll get there. And then afterwards, then we'll be potentially continuing the animation thing down there. That's going to be a thing. And then back to this. And hopefully next time we're back to this, I'll, yeah, at least conceptually have better ideas for how I'm going to solve these issues. But yeah. So, yeah. Also, let's figure out the little, like, messing around I'm still going to continue to do with my new-ish setup of just having moved my desk around and whatnot. Even like cords, like cables and stuff are messy and gotta sort that out, but that's a problem for me to figure out. Anyways, so I think we're gonna wrap things up here for today. So that'll do it for this live stream. If you liked it, look forward to more. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you around. All right, over here. All right, see ya.